Hello, everyone. It is Monday, the 11th of March, 2024, and this is my third video of the day. Quite impressive. I actually did a lot today as well, so not just videos. I took my dogs out multiple times. I did I don't know what you would call it, not a podcast, but like a meditation guided thing, doing breathing exercises and meditation outside as the sun was setting. It's still setting, but like it just got back from that. I went to the gym. I freaking paid. I had to go in town and again this morning and then this afternoon for the gym and stuff like that. But pay property taxes. Freaking expensive, man. Blows my mind. And so quite a few things. And I also went to the butcher on my way home from the gym. And anyway, so where was I going with this stuff? So yeah, so I wasn't just doing videos today and research and reading, although I did a lot of that too. But I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've been up for like 14 and a half hours now. Crazy. And no, I don't nap during the day either. I just barely freaking sleep. It is what it is. November from earlier recommended Astronauts Gone Wild. I found it right away, but like I was contemplating sharing it tomorrow or just do another video today because I watched it already and it's really interesting. So Astronauts, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and this is Bart Sibrel is the one that put this together. And I haven't even checked to see if this guy got murdered yet or not. I fucking hope he's still alive. I get so like frustrated when I get videos that are shared with me, and I'm told what the videos are, and then I'll go into it and I'll like take a look at the guy and the content, and then I friggin' hear or I find out that the friggin' person was murdered, and I'm just like, oh my god! And I already shared it, so it's like not even that. It's not even like I can like take it back. Not that I would, right? Like I share these videos knowing the risks, and I have for many years, but I've risked my life, my whole life. So par for the course, I guess. Here we go.
You're the one who...
This was Edwin Buzz Aldrin Jr., Apollo 11, from Daily Dose of Red Pill. That's where I found it. This was the only video that I found. There was only one up on BitChute, so I didn't check Rumble yet, but I'm sure there's more, but this is the only one.
Said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it.
I'll restart it.
You really like it? You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself. Away from me. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
And an assaulter. See, they don't like getting called out. This is what I mean. The intolerance of the people that expect so much tolerance back is incredible.
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Okay. If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
It's like twist your eyes, bro.
So why don't you just put into the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator in NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
Of course. I don't kick people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get the hell out of my house.
Kicked him in the ass. Like these people
Take your stuff and get the fuck out.
They're so violent.
Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
I'm in the shadows in the wrong place. I don't give a damn about all that shit.
Lunar orbit being falsified.
Being falsified?
Correct. We've got an unedited tape from source at the Johnson Space Center.
That's totally nonsense.
They're crazy. Crazy.
Mr. Cybro, you do not deserve answers.
If you show this publicly, you're open for a lawsuit. Okay?
They like to threaten, and like, what lawsuit are you gonna give? You whiny little fucking entitled brat. Sorry, I have so much disrespect for these people now. Like, why is government and law enforcement protecting these fucking losers and legal? Like, why are lawyers doing that? Like, I just don't understand it. You're literally destroying humanity by doing that. This guy as a loser. He's not worth it. Enjoy the show.
I mean, do you have Neil Armstrong interviewed already?
He doesn't want to be interviewed.
Well, I know.
Why does he not give interviews?
Well, because that's his personal choice.
Because he doesn't want to lie.
And I guess it's mine in a way to do things when they've been researched and worked out as far as a business arrangement. This is not news. This is not an anniversary.
Well, actually, it is. We found a very unique reel of footage that we have queued up to show you.
Yeah.
And it's from the mission. And to our knowledge, no one has ever seen it before.
Mm.
And it's 30 years old.
And you want me to see this while you have me on camera?
Well, and to tell us what it is. I mean, it's
well, I don't know why I should do that.
it's a very unique.
Well, it may be that I need to see it, and then we sit down and we talk about what you're taking a picture of. I don't see
nerve
where there's an advantage in it for me to do what you're asking me to do. I see all sorts of pitfalls. I see people who have managed to talk to somebody. Who did you talk to in our office?
I talked with Heather at Tor Books.
Yeah, but is this helping book promotion? Are you going to be putting anything out during the time that I'm marketing books? See, Heather does not represent me for the things you're talking about. She represents a book selling activity.
I think when you see the footage, you'll see that it's
Wow.
very extraordinary, one of a kind,
Okay.
behind the scenes type of footage.
Yeah. Well, if it is, why do you have access to something that no one else has seen before?
Serendipity, I guess.
Yeah. And also, Buzz, I'm not sure if you're senile, but literally millions of people have access to that footage. And you have no business, and no one in fucking planet Earth has any business hiding the shape of the fucking Earth from people and lying about it and deceiving people, you little fucking freak of nature. Sorry, I'm a little upset about this. Like, you're not, like, this is how entitled they think they are, that they can literally cover up the shape of the fucking Earth and lie about it and fake space all of this stuff, and then have the nerve to try to spin it as if we shouldn't have access to it. As if we shouldn't know the truth. You shouldn't know that I fucking faked it. You shouldn't have footage to, like, all the fucking... Yeah, he should. Yeah, we should. Everyone should. Your children should. Your family should. And I hope that they disown you if you've lied to them this whole time and they haven't found out. If they're stupid enough to still think that you actually fucking went to the moon. You unethical, coward, loser, entitled, rich fucking asshole.
And it was recorded on the 18th
Of what?
of July, 1969. Remember this?
The 18th?
He's not even looking at it. He knows.
Hello, Apollo 11. Houston, Goldstone says that the TV looks great. Over. Okay, Roger. Roger, Neil. We just wanted a narrative such a weekend when we get the playback, we can sort of correlate what we were seeing. Thank you very much. Well, we shut out the sun coming into some of the other windows into the spacecraft, so it's looking through the number one window, and there isn't any reflected light. We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with a TV camera. South America becomes invisible just off beyond the terminator or inside the shadow. We can see the oceans with definite blue cast. See white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth. Roger, the ATC is working real well. The F-22 looks good, over. Apollo 11, Houston, did you copy, over? You copied that, Charlie. Roger, your transmission the last couple of times have been about 2 by, over. Okay, how do you read me now? Roger, 5 by now. Coastline. Now we coming in. Can't quite make out who that had.
Hello.
What is your proposition that we didn't go to the moon?
I'm pretty bada-boo. Pretty bada-boo.
Do you know for a fact that we did not?
That's correct. And you'll see this tape proves that.
Okay.
Do you know for a fact that we did not go to the moon? Yes. Okay. Of course he's gonna run away.
I'm not interested in satisfying your suppositions when there's all this evidence that we did.
This proves, as you see, you're using the window to demonstrate that you were halfway to the moon when you were
Turn the camera off, please.
window.
They don't have to for you.
Turn the camera off.
No, he doesn't have to.
Oh, shit.
It shows that you're in Earth orbit. Now, if the moon is 3 days away, and this is late on the 18th, how could you possibly walk on the moon 2 days later when switch on the 18th?
You want me to sit in front of a camera while you're taking pictures, you're showing this, and then you want to see my reaction?
I know for a fact that you
That's
didn't.
slimy journalism.
No, it's not. It's hilarious. And you deserve it, and you deserve jail, and I hope you get
You'll
it.
be ashamed of
If you read
yourself.
the document that I have in here, you'll find that it's not. But this is a personal plea to do what is right.
Well,
See, this is
we
good
said
TV.
we talk about things ahead of
This is the
time.
document that you want to see. I know for a fact.
But what it is you're trying to do is unethical.
No, honey.
You don't believe that?
No.
No, I do
What
not.
he's doing is very much ethical. It's courageous. It's brave. And what you've been doing now for decades, you asshole, since 1969, you asshole. Since 1969, people. And all of this time, he has escaped jail. I hope for the rest of his life he gets jail. And I hope that he lives to be 140 years old to make up for the years that he evaded jail. Because, like, there's no oath sworn that says lie to humans about humanity. Nothing in there.
Well, then we have a
Disgusting.
difference of opinion.
This is where you were using the window of the spacecraft to appear to be the Earth far away. We got the rock
I love this.
window. We have an auxiliary track, so I'm prompting you when you speak.
You believe in that, photos? You
No, I do
believe
not.
we've been visited by, well, why do
No, I
you want to
don't.
believe this?
I know for a fact. I had this analyzed. And this is the window. And you're in, and it's dated by an atomic clock at the Goldstone tracking station, which is on the tape.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why
You
don't
were
you
there.
talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
I
We're
know
not.
for- I know
I'm
for a
innocent.
fact that it didn't.
I was just doing my
And this
job.
would prove it in a court of law. It would.
Why don't you try? Why don't you put your money into a court of law and see how people laugh at you? You want it.
No one is
Is your
laughing.
camera working?
No one has laughed.
And this makes you a real famous person that has discovered this and reveals all this
Yep.
stuff. What an ego you must have to want
Not
to
an ego.
tell yourself like this.
That's not what I'm doing. And God knows that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing it for the truth.
What an ego you must have to think that you are above humanity. What an ego you must have to think that even now, even with all the proof that you could still lie to people and exploit us. It's a $1 trillion industry, ladies and gentlemen. And there's that money could be used for better things. These dummies, though, are just too busy using it for things that are destroying the planet at the same time, concurrently. So they're lying to us about humanity, and they're also destroying it. Surprise, surprise.
I'm out because I think it was wrong.
Think they'd be ethical. I'm kidding.
No, but you're doing it the wrong way. You don't mislead somebody like me to come in here.
He's such a low life.
That's misleading people. I'm showing you.
Okay, we went to the moon. We're not misleading anybody.
You're a liar, low life.
How is it possible that this is the window? It's shot to make it look like.
Look, you can manufacture all you want with
This
these
is
things.
straight. This isn't manufactured.
Sure.
You know that it isn't. I believe this was proven in a court of law that you did not go to the moon. You stated on the 18th. It proves when you remove the
You give me your business card.
It's all in there. It's all in there.
throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Here they remove part of the crescent insert.
This proves that it's the window. You can see them removing the crescent insert that you did to create the Terminator line in front of
You're
the
so
window.
full of shit, I can't believe it. If you show this publicly, you're open for a lawsuit.
Oh, I hope he gets sued by so many people in the world. I hope he and his family wealth all taken away.
The temperature like
He
in the
does not deserve
spacecraft
it.
on the moon.
Well, the lunar module that was the vehicle that we landed on the moon, it was just like this room we're sitting in here right now. We had a thermostat, and it worked a little different than the air conditioning in a house or a building. However, it had the same effect. So if it was too hot, we moved it up a little cooler, and so we could get just the right temperature we wanted. Now, when we put on our spacesuits and closed them up, then we had a backpack on, and in that back was essentially an air conditioner too, a different kind, a kind that would work in a vacuum. And then we could keep our suits the right temperature, because human beings, even though we got a lot of good capabilities, you know, our brains are amazing, our eyes are amazing.
Not yours, and not the friggin' other astronauts that like literally got brainwashed into deceiving the world. Like, how dumb are you? And you think you're smart. This is what I mean. Like, it bothers me. But even with the suits and the temperature differences on the moon, look at the temperature differences. It's incredible. Like the minus 200 and something plus or minus like variance, and the suits are not set up for that. And even with the astronauts, look at the suits when they're watching the rocket landings or sorry, like rocket launches and stuff like that from miles away, like they usually are. They had blankets over them, and now they have the scuba diving gear inside the astronaut suits, because they do a lot of their filming underwater as well. That they lie to us about, saying it's in space when it's not. It's underwater, and green rooms and all this other stuff, and so and people almost drowned before, so like now they have to have that backup.
We don't perform well if we're not within a really narrow temperature band. If we get too hot, we sweat. We
See,
don't
like
do
he
well.
looks like such a nice grandfather type, you know what I mean, with the glasses too, but like this guy is fucking hood. Okay, so don't get it wrong. Okay, like he might as well have like tattoos all over his face, like wearing like a handkerchief thing like over his friggin' head. You know, like it might as well be wearing that chains, like piercings all over his ears and stuff like that, because like he's done more damage than anyone that he makes fun of that has that appearance and stuff like that. Like he's worse.
Well, if we get too cold, we
He's
shiver.
evil, Grandpa.
We don't do well. So it's important for human beings to have temperature control. And of course, we do that on Earth real well.
If the LEM didn't have climate control, and had air in it, would it be hot or cold without the climate control?
If you just took a lunar module well, let's take the climate control, it fails. All right, what happens then? You got air and setting there, it's 70 degrees. If the lunar module is setting in the sun, which it always is, then slowly but surely that temperature inside is going to go up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you ain't going to make it, because you're going to cook long before that.
What powered the air conditioning?
What powered the air? Batteries. You had a number of big batteries in the lunar module. They powered pumps. They powered the air conditioning. They powered the communication system. And that's the reason we were only able to stay on the moon 33 hours. Later on, we got a little better batteries, more batteries, and we could stay longer. But batteries turned out to be, for the weight involved, the thing that gave you the power. Now this the best. Now the command module, which had to last from the moon and back 10, 12 days, then batteries would have been too heavy. And so we used fuel cells there, which took hydrogen and oxygen and put them together and made electricity. So it depends on, like in a car, you wouldn't want a fuel cell now because a battery can do the job. But if you were trying to replace the engine, maybe you could use some fuel cells to drive the motors. Be too expensive now, but maybe someday.
What was the power of the engine that descended to the moon?
The rocket engine?
Yeah.
The rocket engine that we used to descend to the moon was a very simple rocket engine. It operated at low pressure so that it was like running your car at 30 miles an hour, not running your car like a race car. The engines we used to launch from Earth was like running your car at race car speeds, you know. So everything had to be just right. But we were interested in safety paramount right there. We didn't have last minute checks we could do. We only had one engine, couldn't fail. So it ran at lower pressure. And when you were in it, you couldn't hear it in the vacuum of space.
Any ill effects from the Van
So he didn't
Allen?
answer the question at all. And also, even on that with the G-force, even feeling like 2 G-force, 3 or 4 or 5, this is like even I think 2 or 3 G-force is like 3 times the pressure, and then it just goes up from there, like pounds of pressure, like times your body weight. And so they're claiming they're going beyond that, well beyond the fucking speeds where like people pass out. Like these are elite level athletes that pass out at certain G-forces. And then you've got people like William Shatner that allegedly went at like 98 million years old, like into space, and they're all like talking and knitting and like joking around as they're going through like friggin' like 11 or 10 G-force, whatever the friggin' is, you know what I mean? Like there's just no friggin' way. There's no way. Like 6 anyway. At 3 G-force, you're feeling it.
Radiation belts.
No, now I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
Beginning at an altitude of 1,000 miles and extending an additional 25,000 miles, lay lethal bands of radiation called the Van Allen radiation belts. Every space mission in history with humans on board, from both the United States and Soviet Union, from the first in 1961 to the present, has been well below this deadly radiation field. Mercury, Gemini, Soyuz, Skylab, the Space Shuttle, all maintained altitudes well below 1,000 miles. All except Apollo.
I don't know the distance to the Van Allen radiation belt. And if we did, it wasn't a problem. If we were going to encounter it, then we would have had to build the spacecraft and the spacesuit to not give humans a problem. You don't just build something and hope it works. You study to see what the threats are, the environment is, and then you say, how thick do I have to make the metal on the spacecraft so that going through this kind of radiation or these kind of meteoroids, it won't get hurt.
Oh my God. Like, see,
it.
it's like even with that, like, because like I thought they said 25,000 kilometers, like that's where it is. And so I just wanted to verify it. Because how far away from the moon, allegedly? Sorry, how far is the moon away from Earth, allegedly? I forgot to mention that part in it. I did smoke a joint. Anyway, the first one, you know, with Apollo, it was 237,000 kilometers away. And then, or was it miles? Whatever it was. And like either way more than that. And then it's like 240,000 miles or kilometers or whatever it is on average. So I'm just going to put it up just so you see it. Kilometers, okay. So that would have been miles. So 237,000 miles. So I'm just going to share because it's about 384,400 kilometers is what they say. And 238,855 miles. So I was correct. It was miles. Anyway. And then if you look at the Van Allen belt, I'm just gonna slide it in here. I use a lot of sexual innuendos for someone who's been celibate for years. Anyways, Van Allen radiation belt, donut-shaped zones of highly energetic charged particles trapped at high altitudes in the magnetic field of Earth. The zones were named for James A. Van Allen, the American physicist who discovered them in 1958. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even care. Anyway, No real gap exists between the two zones. They actually merge gradually, with the flux of charged particles showing two regions of maximum density. The inner region is centered approximately 3,000 kilometers, 1,860 miles above the terrestrial surface, right? The outer region of maximum density is centered at the altitude of about 15,000 to 20,000 kilometers, approximately 9,300 to 12,400 miles. Though some estimated plates sit as far above the surface as 6 Earth radii. Anyway, and so even with this, like, it's bullshit. And so people like me that know what the fuck we're talking about, we can like listen to this stuff and like we roll our eyes because we're like, you're bullshit. And okay, and like it's so frustrating that they think that we're so friggin' dumb. You know? I'm not as dumb as you think. Sorry. Like, look at this. Like, you look at it. Like, what am I missing here? Tell me, like, what am I missing here? I have a lot of smart people that watch this friggin' channel. Like the inner region, the outer region, like, again, and the moon, well beyond that. I already showed you 237,000 miles to 238 friggin' 0.8 thousand friggin' miles away. Come on. Come on. I'm not just a pretty face. I'm not just a pretty face. I'm just kidding. How about that? Anyway, astronauts gone wild. Friggin' wild and wildin'.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25.
Just retire, Grandpa. Like just retire, evil Grandpa.
Above the earth.
We went right out through them.
No effects on your cells.
We didn't even know it. I don't think anybody, well, maybe somebody said you went through the radiation belt, but we didn't feel.
And even with that, like if you look at my previous videos on astrotheosophy and electromagnetism, I do believe that there's 7 possible fields. I believe that them to be electrical magnetic fields that are influenced by the luminaries, like the 7 original luminaries, and that's what contains this environment, this electromagnetic reality that's being projected on a flat plane of inertia that we're experiencing this cosmos through.
Feel it inside, and we didn't get any, added radiation.
In 1998, the space shuttle
And radiation
flew to
is
an
magnetism,
altitude of 300.
because magnetism it's radiating energy, and solar energy, like that's what it is. And so that's my theory on that.
50 miles.
And I think I'm smarter than Einstein, and I don't care what anyone says. I do.
One of its
I've come up with so many friggin' theory, like things that like I think that they're more than theories, right? Like I think I've proven things to be true, but with my interpretation of the luminaries and different mythical figures throughout history, I think I've expanded well beyond a lot of people, and so
highest altitudes ever. Hundreds of miles below the beginning of a field of radiation that was so severe that the astronauts inside of their shielded spacecraft and inside of their shielded spacesuits saw flashes of light with their eyes shut that they described as shooting stars, due to radiation penetrating first the shuttle's shielding, then their spacesuit shielding, then their skulls, and finally the retinas of their closed eyes. As a result, CNN issued the following report, noting NASA's unpredicted surprise. The radiation belt surrounding Earth may be more dangerous for spacewalking astronauts than previously believed. Scientists say the phenomena known as the Van Allen belts can spawn killer electrons when the Earth's magnetic field changes. These electrons that are being studied could have an important effect, not only on satellites, which has happened in the past, but could also affect the astronauts by creating large doses of radiation that could influence their health. The electrons can penetrate through various materials, including spacesuits, and can pass through, in fact, the walls of the space station, and can create high charges deep inside of these objects.
No strange occurrences.
Nothing like that.
The space shuttle.
Go ahead.
The space shuttle went to 365 miles a few years ago because I worked in news. I saw CNN. They said that the radiation belts surrounding Earth are more dangerous than previously believed because the astronauts saw shooting stars with their eyes closed just when they got within 600.
Radiation belt. We saw shooting stars, but they're not shooting stars from with your eyes closed, although they look like it. If you're out in space beyond the Van Allen belt, and probably within the Van Allen belt, and close your eyes, and just pay attention. You don't notice it unless you pay attention. Then all of a sudden you'll see a little flash like a shooting star, except it's like that. There goes one this way. Then one just blossoms. And then not that fast. Maybe you wait 3 minutes or 2 minutes and one goes whoosh. And what's happening is cosmic rays are hitting the back of your eye and exciting those sensors in the back of your eye. So that's what you see. And they got high enough apparently to close it. My guess is in Earth orbit, if you closed your eyes and just paid attention, that you would see them.
The first time they were seen was when they went to 365 miles.
Yes.
That's 650 miles below or away from the radiation.
Yeah, see, it's below. My guess if they just did it tonight. But see, if you're just going to sleep or closing your eyes or it's dark, you don't notice them. But if you'll close your eyes and pay attention, which we had an experiment to do, by the way.
Close your eyes and pay
then you
attention.
see them whistling by. Not on our mission, by the way, they hadn't been discovered yet. I saw them one day on the moon. It wasn't dark, and it was kind of dark, and I saw this flash of light, and it looked like it was on the moon, but really it wasn't. It was a flash of light in my eye.
Where were you when the Apollo 1 fire happened?
Apollo 1 fire, I was in my office at the Johnson Space Center. It was about 6 in the evening. I was working late there at my desk. I got a phone call, and a voice on the other end said their name, and I said, okay. They said, I knew who it was. It was the flight director, someone down at the Cape during the test, and he said, we've lost the Apollo 1 crew. We think we've lost the Apollo 1 crew. I said, well, where are they?
Have you ever read the congressional report on that?
Sure.
They considered it at that point that it would be extremely difficult to go to the moon within 2.5 years from that point.
We did. We thought it would be.
So what big change happened to make it possible?
Well, once again, with what we knew at that time, it looked like that would be difficult. So, but we started out on the journey anyway. And as we started on the journey, we found ways to shorten it. For example, we had a lot more flights planned prior to landing on the moon than we actually did. For example, testing the Saturn V. George Miller, one of the smart guys up there in headquarters, said, we're going to test, we've tested on the ground the S4B and the S1 and the S2 sort of. We're going to put them all together and test them all at once because we've run out of time and we want to get to the moon by the end of the decade. And people thought that was a crazy idea. People said, no way, it's too many unknowns. We couldn't possibly do that. There's no way. And George Miller kept saying, if we want to get to the moon by the end of the decade, we're going to have to do this. And I can remember when that was proposed, I thought it was a real crazy idea, not very a good idea.
Nope,
Looking back,
it was not
a great idea.
No, it was not.
Now, Von Braun might have been in favor of it or he might not, but I'm sure if we asked him after it was all done, he would have said, what a great idea. We never thought of that when it began, and that compressed maybe the flight schedule by a whole year or maybe 8 months or something like that. We did a lot of that. We had a goal to get to the moon by the end of the decade, and we were trying to do it. That doesn't mean we were being careless, but it meant we were doing everything we possibly could to make that goal that President Kennedy set for us. And we did, in fact, make it.
Now, you mentioned the guys who thought we didn't go to the moon. This must be what you're talking about.
What?
We found that. I guess you're familiar with the Fox special.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it. I watched it. Yes, it's a good it's a money making thing. They don't have the landing legs extended. You know why? They won't hold the lunar module up on Earth. But that's not those landing legs aren't extended. But this is some guys stand around saying, how can I make some money and make a movie? Well, I can make porno. That's good.
Or you could fucking fake a moon landing, dummy. They're so dumb. Oh my God.
And I've been in the business about 15 years, and I've been asked even to testify in
Does he
court
not see the hypocrisy?
as to the authenticity of footage. And I saw this footage. It's dated by an atomic clock 3 days into the flight.
I would personally, if you're both over the fucking age of for Quebec, it's 18. If you're over the age of fucking 21, we'll say, then make a porno. I don't give a shit. That's your life. You're over the age of 21. I don't give a shit. Don't commit crimes or hurt animals in it or kids or, don't do any of that stuff. I don't give a shit. I don't have to watch it. I won't fucking watch it. You are lying about going to the moon that we can't even go to. Like, do you understand that you are worse than any porn star in the entire fucking planet? Every astronaut, male and female, is worse than any. Again, like the ones that are not committing crimes. Fuck those people too. Fuck them. Right? But the ones that are not committing crimes, what are they like? Like, they're not doing anything worse than, like, come on.
Light. All the astronauts are identified, and they're there putting the transparency over the window. They're clearly pretending to be halfway to the moon when they're not halfway to the moon.
That is bullshit.
You're bullshit.
I don't care what you say. I went to the moon and back, and everyone that's a scientist knows it. Now, if you want to not believe it, it's okay. It's okay. It's a better story. It just happens to be a lie. That's all.
Would you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not going to do it because I'll do it over here. I won't do it on your camera.
Well, why not?
Because it just isn't an appropriate thing to do.
Well,
but you're an asshole to do that. You're the same guys, just different guys that did the other person I told you about.
Well, would you put your hand on, if you walked on the moon, here's the opportunity to set the record straight, to put your left hand on the Bible,
left hand,
raise your right hand,
okay,
and you realize this can be used as a video deposition in the future. And if you lie, you'll be guilty of perjury.
I understand that.
Okay, say your name.
My name is Alan Bean.
I swear to God and affirm.
I swear to God and affirm.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
Treason.
Treason. No, not treason. Treason has nothing to do with it.
It's treason.
Let me rephrase this and say.
They don't understand they're committing treason. Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau don't understand they're committing treason too. Chris Hadfield, and like that, if you wanted a Canadian example, you are committing treason. Are you that dumb? You're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to be astronauts. Like,
got my hand on the Bible. I went to the moon. I walked on the moon.
This is a video deposition in the future. And if you lie, you'll be guilty of perjury.
I understand that.
Okay. Say your name.
My name is Alan Bean.
I swear to God and affirm.
I swear to God and affirm.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
Treason.
Treason. No, not treason. Treason has nothing to do with it. Let me rephrase this and say, I've got my hand on the Bible. I went to the moon. I walked on the moon. All the other people that you think are people that NASA says went to the moon and walked on the moon.
But you won't
go to the moon and walk on the moon.
You won't say under penalty of treason.
What's treasonous?
That's doing something fraudulent to the taxpayers.
That's crap.
Well, what
that
about
isn't treason.
Under penalty of eternal damnation?
Under penalty of eternal damnation.
And under penalty of treason.
Treason is when you sell out your country.
You did.
Well, if you used $135 billion to not go to the moon.
That's still not treason. Treason is if you tell secrets to another thing. I've said enough. Now you can use that and say, well, you didn't say something else.
No.
I know how people are. It's okay.
Well,
take your stuff and get the fuck out.
I've asked 6 other astronauts if they would swear on the Bible, and they refused to do it. Neil Armstrong refused to do it.
Michael Collins. I know that. I know they do.
Now, do you believe in God?
Go to fuck to jail.
Do I?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I wouldn't swear on the Bible if I didn't believe it. But it doesn't make any difference. You'll change it like you want. Take your stuff and go, guys. Whatever.
Well, I know for a fact you didn't walk on the moon.
That's fine. That's fine. It's okay if you know it. Do you understand that? You can have any opinion you want. That's what's wonderful about this country. You can believe anything you want. And it's okay with me for sure.
Right.
Get your stuff and go.
Okay. Yeah, right here's fine. I'm Bart with ABC Digital.
How you doing?
I was given a classified tape from the Apollo program. It's 31 years old. It's an unedited reel, including outtakes from the mission. It's got about 20 of a single shot.
Look how scary it is. And by the way, I love how these little guys, and again, this is just because like I dislike them. They're such big liars. It's not little lies, right? These are huge lies. Shoulder pads. They have the biggest friggin' shoulder pads, like even Kirby from friggin' the US and stuff like that. Like these, like oh my god, like these little warmongers and liars to humanity have like the littlest shoulders.
Of the
What mission?
Apollo 11.
Yes.
And the photography is being forged in the mission. They're faking a shot of being halfway to the moon. And they refer to you on the tape as a shot that was done during Apollo 10, where you put a transparency over the window and move the camera of the Earth and move the camera back away from the window, turn off the lights in the spacecraft, and appeared to be halfway to the moon when in fact they were in Earth orbit.
Huh, really?
Yeah, and they said it was the same way that you did it on Apollo 10. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, to swear to God.
Stick it in your ear.
Well,
stick it in your ear, buddy. I mean, they're such nerds, like the biggest fucking nerds, and like so weak in in real life. But they got the media, like Bart Sibrel. So I just wanted to see what his name was.
You were giving an opportunity to swear to God under oath that you walked on the moon.
I don't do that.
Well, if you really walked on the moon, what's the problem of swearing to God that you did? Do you believe in God?
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Okay.
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
I got to a point on my 2 flights to the moon, particularly my last flight, when I actually made the moon my home for over 3 days. You know, you become detached from one planet. You become detached from Earth, which is your identity with reality. But we launched tonight.
Okay, so Bart Sibrel, like apparently he's still alive, so this is a good sign. I like this.
Circled the Earth
Very good news.
about 1.5 times and headed out to the moon for a 3-day voyage when we got there.
So the engine is loud?
You get, pardon?
Is the engine loud as you're descending?
Well, the engine is very loud. It's very difficult to tell the difference between feeling sound and hearing sound, but yes, it's loud.
When you were in it, you couldn't hear it in the vacuum of space.
It's a very kinetic, very dynamic period of about 10 to 12 minutes. And you get down to 200 feet and you go through an area where you're either going to land or you're basically going to crash.
So is the Earth, I guess, is 6 times bigger than the moon is from Earth?
The Earth is about 4 times bigger than a full moon looks to us from Earth. It was very
so that
close
Buzz
to the
Aldrin
horizon.
incident that you saw before. Chuck, you want to see what Wikipedia says about it? On the day following the altercation, this is the interview. So a statement from a lawyer from Aldrin described a 6'2", 250-pound Sibrel forcing Aldrin up against a wall and refusing to let him leave, thus making the case for self-defense. Aldrin made the case to police that he had been attempting to defend himself and his stepdaughter, who was with him at the time. Sibrel gave the tape to the police, apparently alleging assault. The incident received significant publicity, with many television talk shows airing the clips. People like Sibrel attempted on camera to coerce Aldrin to swear an oath on a Bible that he had been to the moon. Witnesses came forward to the police indicating that Sibrel had aggressively poked Mr. Aldrin with the Bible. That didn't happen. He didn't aggressively poke Mr. Aldrin with the Bible. You just saw the video. Take a look for yourself. When Aldrin refused Sibrel's request, Sibrel followed him, saying, "You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't." The BBC reported that Deputy District Attorney Elizabeth Ratanoff told Reuters is fake media, the videotape shot by a cameraman hired by Mr. Sibrel had shown the filmmaker follow Mr. Aldrin, calling him a thief, a liar, and coward, still being recorded by Sibrel's camera crew. Aldrin responded with, "Will you get away from me?" and then punched Sibrel in the jaw. Anyway, there's more to it, but look at it yourself. And they're talking about the age difference. Who gives a fuck about the age difference? By the way, when you're a criminal, I'm sorry, do you get amnesty from having people ask you questions when they're journalists? And it doesn't even matter if it's a journalist or not. Anyone should be able to ask questions. to people that are public servants that he's a liar.
And on Apollo 17, and that was unique for us. We didn't have to look up like most of the other flights from most of the other landing sites were to look at the Earth. I mean, I just glanced over my shoulder, and there's the Earth. It was there all the time. It was so prominent. It was almost involuntarily while you're going about your work and being a lunar geologist and exploring and driving a rover, you'd always be confronted by the Earth itself. It was, I tell you what, it was almost like a security blanket because you knew it was there. It was the warmth that accompanied your visit to another planet. For instance, our lunar module, when we lifted off the surface, had to burn for 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Not just light
See,
off.
they're such good liars. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you'd have to be a psychopath.
Only one engine. You know, we had redundant or backup valves, but only one engine.
How do you
one set
lie
of
so well?
propellant tanks. It had to light off and had to burn for 7 minutes and 14 seconds. If it quit earlier than 7 minutes and 7 seconds, we came back down to the moon, and there was no rescue.
So there was no strange phenomenon going through the belts of any kind. Nothing happened.
When you know they're lying, it's easier to tell.
No great unknowns. No science fiction going to the moon. It was all science fact, although sometimes it seemed like it was science fiction.
I saw a CNN report about 3 years ago. The space shuttle went to about 365 miles. And that was the closest they got to the belts since the moon missions went through them. And they were about, I guess, 650 miles away from the belts. And they reported that it was more dangerous than previously believed. And that when they were 650 miles away, inside a shielding better than you guys used, they could see the radiation with their eyes closed going through their skulls and the retinas of their closed eyes.
Well, I don't know about the shuttle. The shuttle doesn't have the capability to go very far, 400 miles. I don't know exactly where the Van Allen. Quiet. Hey, quiet. You know, the shuttle doesn't have the capability to fly very far away from Earth, maybe 300-400 miles. I don't know exactly how far out the radiation Van Allen belt is. It didn't seem to bother us very much.
Did you see shooting stars?
Did
you see the shooting stars?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of it's going on.
It's distracting. Like, this is what I mean. Like, when you know the tells and like look at the armpit sweat, even though it's a darker shirt.
So I don't know the results of some of the experiments they've conducted. The point is they can't get that far from here, and they're really in the protective confines of the Earth, outside the atmosphere certainly. Now on the way to the moon, we did conduct a lot. We didn't just weren't passengers away to the moon.
We're passengers.
We conducted all kinds of experiments, and one of them was an experiment where we closed our eyes and then we put some light-sensitive pads on our eyes, and we could literally, yes, we could see traces of radiation or traces of something going through our eyes. We conducted this experiment both going to the moon and coming back from the moon several times. Now, what that all meant, I don't know, but it wasn't the kind of radiation that gave us a problem of any kind. But you could see it. You could close your eyes and you could see these things shoot by. We all saw it.
Not on our mission, by the way, they hadn't been discovered yet.
We did it on more than one mission.
I guess you knew von Braun, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They found a publication of his that he did prior to the goal being set to go to the moon. And in it, he says, "It is commonly believed that man will fly directly from the Earth to the moon. But to do this, we would require a vehicle of such gigantic proportions that it would prove an economic impossibility. Calculations have been carefully worked out on the type of vehicle we would need for the nonstop flight from the Earth to the moon and to return. The figures speak for themselves. 3 rockets would be necessary. Each rocket ship would be taller than the Empire State Building, 1,250 feet, and weigh about 10 times the tonnage of the Queen Mary, or some 800,000 tons. Now, the Saturn V rocket weighed 2,500 tons. Now, that's a difference of 32,000%. How do you explain that change was made within a 3-year period?
All right, is this a Bible?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
I
my
think
Bible.
this is ludicrous.
They don't care.
And I want you to put that on film. It's ludicrous. I swear.
Under penalty of perjury?
I swear under penalty of perjury,
treason,
and
eternal damnation.
And eternal damnation.
That I walked on the moon during Apollo 17.
That I walked on the moon on Apollo 17 for 75 hours. I lived.
They're such liars. They don't care. And I don't care if you were threatened and family was threatened and stuff like that. So fucking be it. You're the one that did it. It's your fault. You put yourself in that fucking mess, buddy. And your family in that mess. You did it. I didn't. My life is more at risk than his. And that also profoundly upsets me. A liar deceiver is more protected than people that are trying to share the truth about him.
Lived on a moon on Apollo 17.
Lying on the fucking Bible like that.
Well, 6 other astronauts did not swear in the Bible when they had the opportunity.
Well, that's fine. I probably, you know why they didn't? The same reason I almost didn't, because it's absolutely ludicrous for you to ask me that. I probably would have done what the other 6 did, because I'm just as stubborn as anybody else. I said, I don't need to prove to you that I went to the moon. I know I went. But I did that. You can put that on tape, and it's there, and you can show it to anybody you want. You know what I did with the Hasselblad?
He left
it sitting face up to the sun without a back on it, so that somebody's going to go back and find out what kind of deterioration the lens suffered because it was facing straight up. Where's the lunar rover? It's a mile behind the. How do you think we took the pictures of the liftoff on Apollo 17 with a television?
He's spiraling.
Camera? How do you think we missed him on Apollo 16 because of the time delay? By the time the guy sent the signal, it was gone and the camera couldn't track fast enough. So on 17, he sent the signal a second and a half.
Blah, 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 blah. And these time delays he's talking about, they've actually messed up quite a lot on these space missions where they're responding right away and people are looking and then they'll do the friggin' like long delay, like 10-second delay, whatever it is. It's like, you guys are bad at it. You're so bad at it. So just stop.
Second earlier, so that the camera got the signal and we were. How do you think that happened? I've got a book telling me I didn't go to the moon. That thick, okay? There's a book there when you can't see stars in the daytime and the shadows interact. I don't give a damn about all that shit.
It sounds like you do. You should.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
Mr. Collins, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital.
How are you?
Good. I'm the gentleman who found the classified tape from your mission of you faking the window shot, putting the transparency over the window when you were supposedly halfway to the moon when in fact you were in Earth orbit.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think you must be some kind of wacko.
Okay, well,
you're
we
so weird.
Set the record straight. Well, we're asking you to.
I'm not on the record right now.
We'd ask you to.
Would you please go away?
Well, asking you to swear in the Bible that you orbited the moon.
Would you please go away?
Well, if you really orbited the moon, why won't you swear in the Bible that you did so? Can you tell me why you would have a problem doing that?
Would you please go away?
You don't remember the shot where you put the transparency over the window? We have it being done up to.
You know what? I support
they
this.
simply walked on the
Be
moon.
peaceful. This guy's a criminal. He should be in jail. So
I
fuck
just
it.
don't understand why, if you orbited the moon, you wouldn't have a problem about swearing to the Bible on it. Can you tell me why?
Look at this shirt. Getting game. This is the way he thinks he's such fucking good shit. Oh my god, these people need to be stopped peacefully. Okay. Jail. It's crazy. What's an astronaut?
Are you afraid for the truth to come out?
I think you're some kind of wacko. I really do.
Well, I think it's wacky to not swear to God on something that's supposed to be obvious.
so frustrating.
Hey, Bart with ABC Digital.
We need to get back to that.
Okay.
Signing.
One quick question. All right. I was given a classified. Okay. I was given a classified tape showing part of the Apollo mission being falsified, of lunar orbit being falsified.
Being falsified?
Correct. We got an unedited tape from a source at the Johnson Space Center.
That's totally nonsense.
We want to give you the opportunity to swear in the Bible that you orbited the moon during Apollo 15.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, come on.
Run away, coward.
Just one last note. If you orbited the moon, why do you have a problem swearing to God that you did so?
Sir, I don't, but I don't feel like I have to do that because data speaks for itself.
Well, we have proof that the mission was falsified.
No, you don't have to, sir.
Well, we do.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you here. Thank you.
All right. Howdy, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. I was given a classified tape from Apollo 11 showing them taking the photography of lunar orbit.
Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
Well, would you mind swearing on the Bible that you orbited the moon? If you really orbited the moon, why would you have a problem swearing to God that you did so?
Mr. Henderson, can I take a picture with you real quick, sir?
Oh, we
Picture with a liar.
Okay. I've got on the tape Neil Armstrong rigging part of the photography where it puts that.
That'll tell you how screwed up. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Well, if you really walked on the moon, what do you have a problem? I mean, orbited the moon, why do you have a problem swearing to God that you did so?
Would you please just stay back?
Howdy, Buzz. How's it going? Remember me?
What's your name?
Bart Sibrel.
Would you give your name to my assistant?
Yeah, I got one for you, one for your lawyer to sue me. I hope you do. I'd love to go to court and show a window shot.
I know you'd like to get a lot of attention, wouldn't you?
Well, you're the one
Let's
getting
do.
money for something you didn't do. You're getting a lecture for walking on the moon when you didn't. Well, that's called being a thief. That's called being a thief. Do you think you can get to heaven without repenting? Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon? Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not trying to get
You tell him to get out of here.
This is a
We'll
hotel.
call the police.
We paid.
Come
on in here, we'll call the police.
Solicit.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
It doesn't.
I wish I could share some of my Rumble comments because I'm getting some compliments on the content I'm sharing. So I'm glad that people on YouTube and X and Rumble are enjoying it, and the recommendations I'm getting, I'm listening.
I don't have nothing to do with this. We
Okay.
cannot solicit
Obviously.
on this property.
We just paid to rent out the penthouse to shoot up there. So
You can't solicit like this on this property.
keep
All right, well, then I go through my measures.
you got to keep shooting, man. Okay, well, you can put it on your shoulder. Don't be shy.
Come with me, Buzz.
You really like attention, don't you?
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I
Will you
misrepresented
get away
myself.
from me?
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
So this will be all right.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Gentlemen.
Mr. Seibel,
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the into the record in the argument and put your hand on
I
the
just don't
Bible.
understand why people protect them. Why are you such a fucking beta soy boy, fucking not a man at all? Why are you protecting a fucking liar? That's like, I just don't understand. Why isn't he not stopping and saying, hey, answer his question? You, like, this should be turned this way. Fuck this guy. I don't care how old is he. Fuck this guy.
Swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Seibel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Please
I have
give
a
it to
tape.
charity. That'd be fine.
Why don't
I
you
won't.
swear to? Why not? Why won't you do it? So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swore to God that you walked on the moon.
Mr. Seibel has made a fool of himself in front of the world. Mr. Seibel, you do not deserve answers.
Yeah, he does.
Tell us, what is this video?
Yes, he does.
It's not quite following it on right now.
Well, that looks like a Buzz Aldrin photograph there. I can't see it too clearly from my angle here.
Is this a documentary about the moon missions?
I believe so. Well, I think
When people turn away, like cross away from something, it's a physical reaction, like for advanced interview interrogation techniques of like, it's you want to get away from it, right? You've got something to hide, something from that you want to hide from. And he's angled towards the exit likely as well.
it's a series of clips and vignettes. I'm not quite sure that's a documentary.
And by the way, oh my God. And does that even look like the fucking moon? I'll just play back.
Well, that looks like a Buzz Aldrin photograph there. I can't see it too clearly from my angle here.
Is this a documentary about the moon missions?
I believe so. Well, I think it's a series of...
Okay, so look at the moon now. Does this look like the moon? Does this look like any of like the newer, like updated NASA images of the moon, or anything from like from amateur imagery?
a series of clips and vignettes. I'm not quite sure that's a documentary.
Was this something from broadcast or something that...
I'm sorry, I don't know. Without looking at the label and looking at it more closely, I have dozens of these things in here.
What is this? They're talking about shadows.
Yeah, you saw
and
it
stuff
too.
Like that. What's that all about?
You know, this might have come from some of the challenges to the fact, yes, from the challenges by the group that has said we never went to the moon, and they're trying to pick holes in some of the lunar photographs. And it's an interesting subject because they're totally misguided. We did exactly what we said we did.
No, you didn't.
Then they can try to pick holes in the photography all they want to, but
I just did.
Why is it that you have a copy of it?
Beg your pardon?
Oh, why do you have a copy of it?
People send me stuff all the time. I have boxes and boxes of video from various television programs, various speeches that I've done. I must have 300 or 400
No way.
of them. I look at very few of them.
So I'm going to put this back up. Sorry. This guy and his son threatened to have the CIA kill him on their hot mic. So you're saying that he does?
So someone sent you this?
I'm sure that, well, they obviously did. That's why I have it.
Oh, so it's not something that you acquired
No.
or
Getting the Gestapo after them? Getting the fucking Nazis after them? And fun fact, there's actually different CIAs. Like there's different agencies of the CIA, whatever you want to call it, like all over the place, all over the US especially, but all over the place. And yeah, one of the CIA agencies is affiliated with NASA. At least one of them. Obviously, there might be more, but
or anything like that.
not all CIA agents and CIA operatives and stuff like that are bad people. There are schmucks within, just like so many other organizations right now where they need to be in jail. And people need to stop blindly allowing this stuff to happen and not speaking up or saying anything about it. Because if you look at the Stanford prison experiments with the guards and the prisoners, the guards that had regrets as well for decades afterwards were the ones that just sat back and allowed the other guards during, like, again, it was a behavioral study. Again, they were not real guards. They were men in their 20s that just volunteered for a study. And they regretted, and they should have regretted, but they regretted not speaking up and stopping the guard, the assigned guard, from committing like a lot of abuse towards like innocent civilians, but that were assigned the prisoner status. And so you just make everything worse. by not saying anything, and there's proof, like literally everywhere you look.
You have to understand, I get at least a dozen books a month to review, 2 or 3, maybe 4 dozen videos a year from various people just want me to have it, so they send it along.
We only brought like one clip. If you want to throw it in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was stop.
Yeah, take it again.
Yeah, we can edit this right away. Well,
Yeah, just hit play.
well, it goes in.
This is, what is this? Oh, this is a shot from 130,000 miles out.
I love this.
I guess it's from
I
approaching.
love that quote. I'm gonna read it out. In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. I like that.
It's from approaching the moon, looking back at the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen this on a couple of
Come on,
flights.
does that look like the sun?
Was this something that you got, although this is from Apollo 11, did you shoot a shot of the Earth like this?
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny.
So you had a TV camera in the spacecraft.
That's correct.
And this is, I guess, the Earth zoomed in at a distance.
Yep, seems
They
to
get
be.
shot a little bit halfway to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's kind of, I guess the cloud cover looks
What you're looking
right.
at.
Now, what is that right there?
What is that?
There's like an arm. It looks like hair on an arm getting in front of the window.
Maybe somebody got their arm in front
Now,
of
I
it.
thought that was the arm of God moving
Right.
across the earth. I couldn't quite figure
I
that out.
suspect that was the edge of the window, more than likely, that they were shooting at.
What did the earth look like from a great distance? There it
About
is
like
again,
that.
130,000 miles out.
About like that.
So it's pretty small at the distance of the moon.
Yeah.
But I think
The arm of
the
God.
better images are the Hasselblad images that have been taken on every flight and are the most published
so funny.
pictures in the history of the
What
world.
is that in the top left?
It's such a joke.
If that's the Earth, is that like another spacecraft?
No, no,
Want
no,
to
no.
make sure you can see it.
In fact, I have no idea what that is. It's some aberration on the film of some sort. Oh, those are shadows, I think. Or reflection, probably reflections that are just reflecting.
Run that
the
back
wind.
again so we get another shot of it.
If you're going to press me on this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because I won't pursue this. All of this attempt to say the Apollo programs were fake is
They were,
just sheer
motherfucker.
nonsense. And you can talk till hell freezes over and you're wrong. Okay.
Well, would you
I will
affirm?
continue on this line.
Would you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
You bet your sweet ass.
Okay.
You
Put
just
your left hand
swear.
on the Bible. Put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand and say, I, Edgar Mitchell,
Edgar Mitchell,
affirm
affirm.
under penalty of eternal damnation,
I don't believe in that, but
if you
penalty of eternal damnation,
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
Well, you know, you're the first astronaut to do that. We asked 6 other astronauts
Because he's not religious. It's nothing to him to do that.
to swear on the Bible.
It's like swearing on a comic book.
They refused to do it.
Well, I don't particularly like to take oaths like that either, because I don't accept the Bible as a gospel of anything. It's a historical record. But we did go to the moon. You bet your sweet ass we went to the moon. Okay, turn off the camera. Your interview is done. I've given you all the time I'm going to give you.
Okie dokie. Good to meet you.
Don't say it's a pleasure.
Understand.
Please get your ass out of my house.
Okay.
And you came here under false pretenses,
Pretenses?
and I think you're an asshole.
Well,
And if you
You mean
continue this,
pretenses?
and if you press this, I will personally take you to court.
I hope that you do. I invite you to. I'm going to give you my card so you can arrange that. And I'm encouraging you to arrange.
You're frankly not worth it.
No, we have you on the record saying you'll take me to court. I hope you do, because we have proof that we're proven in a court of law that Apollo 11 didn't go to the moon. And I think it's something that you should see. I don't say that lightly, believe me. I don't say it lightly.
You have joking, sir. People can have fun. And maybe do that if they feel like they want to have a little fun on a trip to the moon. And as an independent producer,
Okay, we're heading out.
doing that is against moral ethics.
Lying about going to the moon is a satanic lie.
Hey, I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get.
I'm heading out. I appreciate it.
And check out White House. Don't get a gun and shoot around them before they get out of the office.
We have a video camera running if you want to do it.
Right.
Talking about shooting people. This is what I mean. These are not smart, nice, great role models for anyone. They're fucking gross.
That would be great footage for us. See you later.
And what a coward, kicking someone in the ass, like as he's like bent over, like picking up stuff. Like how you, like as a man, like that to me is so pathetic. Like as a woman, like infantry officer for like over 15 years in the security industry, and like teach use of force and all this other stuff. Like men don't do that. Little bitch ass fucking losers do that. Jail. Jail. Jail.
Want to call the CIA? Have them whacked.
Oh, you were right, November. The fucking nerve, eh?
Don't get a gun and shoot them at them before they get out of the office.
We have a video camera running if you want to do it.
Right.
That would be great footage for us. See you later. In court, I hope.
Want to call the CIA?
Wanna call the CIA and have them waxed? And they're laughing about it. So, cops, anyone that's watching this, I hope this is investigated. I really hope that these people are in jail because they're fucking crazy.
CIA? Have them whacked.
Yeah. No. Fucking kidding me. Oh my god. Wait, is this the end? I don't know. Is this the end? Okay, so like I just like I tell you that like this is gonna be dangerous work, the content that I share, and so I've talked about Boeing and the petroleum and the corners that they've cut and other airlines and stuff like that, and I gotta show you on Twitter what I just fucking like that I just saw. Totally not suspicious. Boeing whistleblower John Barnett was found dead in a hotel parking lot from an alleged self-inflicted gunshot wound. He claimed that Boeing was cutting corners on their plane.
What's the rest of the condition of the airplane? And the reason my concern for that is back in one, this is not a 737 problem, it's a Boeing problem. And I know the FAA's gone in and they've done due diligence and inspections to assure that the door plugs of the 737 are installed properly and the fasteners are stored properly. But my concern is, what's the rest of the airplane? What's the rest of the condition of the airplane? And the reason my concern for that is back in 2012, Boeing started removing inspection operations off their jobs. So it left the mechanics to buy off their own work. So what we're seeing with the door plug blowout is what I've seen with the rest of the airplane, as far as jobs not being completed properly, inspection steps being removed, issues being ignored. My concerns are with the 737 and the 787, because those programs have really embraced the theory that quality is overhead and non-value added. So those two programs have really put a strong effort into removing quality from the process. When I first started working at Charleston, I was in charge with pushing back defects to our suppliers. And what that meant was I'd take a group of inspectors and actually go to the supplier and inspect their product before they sent it in. Well, I'd taken a team of 4 inspectors to Spirit Aerosystems to inspect the 41 section before they sent it to Charleston. And we found 300 defects. Some of them were significant that needed engineering intervention. When I returned to Charleston, my senior manager told me that we had found too many defects and he was going to take the next trip. So the next trip he went on, he took 2 of my inspectors. When they got back, they were given accolades for only finding 50 defects. So I pulled that inspector aside and I said, did Spirit really clean up their act that quick? That don't sound right. And she was mad. She said, no. Said the 2 inspectors were given 2 hours to inspect the whole 41 section and they were kicked off the airplane.
Crazy world. Well, that is interesting. So anyway, on that note, I will leave it at that. And yeah, that's it. Like I freaking a lot of videos today, but anyway, it was good. It was enjoyable. And so I want to thank November, because the last 2 were courtesy of those recommendations from that person, whether it be a male or female, I have no idea. And anyways, I hope you have a wonderful night.